The desert has a way of cleaning out debris. With very little water but lots of inevitability and no compassion, it doesn't take long for the arid to strip one down to their components. I spent 8 months being deconstructed in the stillness. My first time living away from home in college in Prescott, Arizona, I gave in to the silence. The schoolwork was difficult. My GED didn't prepare me for this. The material wasn't too hard, but I lacked the discipline, having never been fully challenged in high school. I went to a psychiatrist to see if he could help me with my studies. I told him I had ADHD, and he confirmed. He wrote me a note for Ritalin, and so I ingested his stimulation at my own pace, as prescribed at first, but then rapidly as the pressure mounted, inhaling the fine yellow, white, blue, and orange sands, licking the razor blade clean. One night, another friend was introduced into my life in the form of 2 transparent blue window panes. As the LSD dissolved under my tongue, my girlfriend became frightened of the trees, with their aggressive shimmering and high desert whispering. The ravens sounded grim with laughter and foreshadow. The shadows became empty, extending, reaching for our mortality, our sanity. The scaly alligator junipers could survive in such a place, but we could not. We went inside, and I started to remember something I hadn't thought of in years. The lysergic acid had combined with my coping mechanisms and broken the barrier between implicit memory and a full-scale flashback. My bedroom turned into the bathroom he locked us in. My lover's touch reminded me only of his forearms and fists, her reassurance mixed in with his compassionate side. I felt him internally. I felt him choking me from the inside this time, in my lungs, an angry shadow constructed of tar and repressed memory compacted by the amphetamines and video games I fueled my escapes with. And I realized fully, for the first time, that there was a word for what my best friend did to me. Ironically, the risk of taking LSD in the middle of my addiction to prescription amphetamines proved to be a lesson that I needed. It was an extremely painful lesson, and I didn't learn it right away. It took me another couple of months of losing sleep and losing weight at an unhealthy rate to decide to throw in the towel and check myself into treatment back in Virginia. I've always reveled in chaos. I've become adept at navigating it, perhaps because I'm so consistent at inviting it. I wait for pressure to build up to a point that it seems a worthy challenge. I operate by unpredictable incentive, usually not knowing what it will take to motivate me to do what can be done. A friend of mine referred to this as my mad lightning, which I find to be a fitting diagnosis, one which encompasses many of my creative and destructive inclinations. In 12-step programs, I choose to identify my higher power as creativity. This encompasses everything I love about my art, my poetry, which I share with the world. It is also what is lost when I use drugs. I close myself off to receiving the muse. Since I first got clean in 2008, I have made strides that I never thought possible. There have been setbacks. Life happens. I've slipped. But I know how to pick myself up from the dust, and I've become well practiced at raising myself from the ashes.